Who's the best welterweight in the world?
Respectfully, Terence CRAWFORD.
What I do, YouTube? It's your boy King David in this thing, and I'm back at y'all again with another video. So before I get going on this video, man, I'm gonna need y'all to go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe one time for your boy so we can continue to grow like we need to grow on this channel. Alright, so with all that out the window, man, y'all see what the title of the video is. Bud will be fine at 154. You know what I mean? So, you know, the purpose of me doing this video, man, is because there's a lot of boxing fans out there, a lot of preferably usually Errol Spence fans out there who feel like Terence Bud Crawford is, for some reason, his career will go in the wrong direction if he doesn't stay at 147 or if he doesn't sign with the PBC. You know, I did another video in regards to PBC and why he should not sign the PBC, but this video we're gonna talk about the move to 154 because, you know, a lot of people are saying like if Bud moved to 154, like he's too small and he's this and that, and also all the fighters up there are with the PBC and Bud is not signed with the PBC and he's gonna have to sign with the PBC in order to get these fights. And it's like, bruh, that's just not true, one. But two, even if that was the case, why would you want a man to give up his freedom in order to chase another dude? You know what I mean? But let's look at what it is that you guys are talking about, right? Let's break it all the way the fuck down, right? If Bud stays at 147 pounds, right now we have Errol Spence continuing his duck spree, okay, with the 60-40, 70-30, with the easy route, with the side of the street, with the guy to get a belt first. We here with Errol Spence, who has been prolonging this fight for the last 3 and 4 years, right? We got Keith Thurman, who said he's gonna fight Bud, and he said he's gonna fight him in the summer, but now he comes out and he says he doesn't want to fight him in the summer. He's looking for Errol Spence, or now he's the mandatory, quote unquote, mandatory for Errol Spence's WBC belt. We got Virgil Ortiz, who says he's ready for a Bud Crawford. Like, he'll take the fight, like, if it's offered to him, but, you know, he doesn't think he's ready, but he might be ready, but he thinks he's ready. It's like all these different little bullshit ass things. We got all these dudes at 147, just like in and or around a little sister circle, you know what I mean? Really not showing any kind of interest in the Terence Bud Crawford fight, all right? And then you got Jerome Boots Ennis, who says he's ready for Bud, but at the same time going the IBF route in pursuit of Errol Spence Jr. Even though he's ranked number 3 in the WBO, he's going after Errol Spence Jr. in the IBF. So it's like, okay, you Bud Crawford, you're watching what's going on at the welterweight division. Is it really worth another year or two of your time to sit around at 147 and wait for these dudes to come around to fighting you? You know? And I'm like, you know, I'm not saying nothing negative about Boots or Virgil Ortiz. At the end of the day, if they can fight one dude and get 3 belts, why not do it? But at the end of the day, that doesn't help Bud, and Bud certainly shouldn't sit around the division and wait for these guys to get ready to want to fight Bud Crawford, you know? And then if you're one of the believers who believes that Errol Spence after this Dennis Ugas fight is going to come around some way, somehow to wanting to fight Terence Bud Crawford, it's like, I mean, there are so many excuses already in place for why Errol Spence would not take a Terence Bud Crawford fight. Having Virgil Ortiz at the number 1 spot and a Keith Thurman versus Mario Barrios winner to fight in an eliminator for that mandatory spot, to have a Boots Ennis ranked number 1 in the IBF and right in line for that IBF belt. To have these guys right in line, I mean, there's so many reasons for why a Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence fight can't happen. And then we have PBC talking about they ain't got money. I mean, there's just so many goddamn things, man. So many goddamn things. So it's like, If you're Bud Crawford, why not just move up to 154 pounds and look for the smoke at 154? And again, a lot of naysayers, a lot of Earl Spence fan people, they want to deter Bud from going up to 154. But at the end of the day, Bud will be fine at 154. Bud will be fine at 154. I've heard people make the argument that Bud is too small to go up to 154, but they were saying that Bud was too small to go up to 147. If you recall correctly, they said he was light in the ass. A certain somebody said he was light in the ass at 147. So I don't understand why, he be light in the ass at 147. I mean, they said the same things about him at 147. So, should we really say he's too small for 154 at the end of the day? You know what I'm saying? They say all the fighters is with PBC, but at the end of the day, Bud moves up to 154. He's the biggest fighter at 154. He's the biggest draw at 154. Who you're gonna get a bigger payday fighting at 154 pounds? So why would those guys at PBC not fight Terence Bud Crawford? And even if there is some sort of conspiracy against Terence Bud Crawford and none of the PBC fighters want to fight him, well, Bud Crawford is their WBO belt, so he should be able to challenge the WBO champion for that belt as soon as he's ready to move up and get into that position. You know what I'm saying? So, it's either fight Bud or vacate. So at the end of the day, Bud Crawford still becomes a 4-weight division champion. At very least. But even being a 4-weight division champion, you still have much bigger and better fights at 154 pounds than you got at 147. There's plenty of work. Even if he can't get a Castano or a Jamal Charlo or Jamil Charlo in the ring, he can fight the other guys around there. He can fight the Julian J. Rock Williams and the Erickson Lubins and the guys who aren't quite at that top level, who aren't quite that big draw, but would be honored to get in the ring with a Terence Bud Crawford, pound for pound #1 fighter in the world, the biggest draw at 154 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? Bud will be just fine at 154 pounds. He'll be just fine. Bud Crawford has the boxing skills and the boxing abilities to be able to compete with anybody at any weight division, honestly. Bud Crawford at any weight division does just fine, honestly, in my opinion. But certainly at a weight class like 154, Bud definitely is more than able to be able to hold his own with the under 154 pounder. Bud is 5'8" with a 70-something inch reach. You know what I mean? Those guys might be 5'10", 5'9", whatever the case is, but Bud's reach is just as long, if not a little bit longer than most of those guys. Bud Crawford's boxing IQ, the way that he's able to fight different ways at different times, his ability to make adjustments, his ability to switch it, his ability to fight on the outside, the inside, his ability to cut the ring off, his ability to counter punch, all these different skills that Bud Crawford possesses, he's able to fight at 154 pounds, no problem. And then when you have somebody like a Earl Spence who finally does want to come up to 154 pounds, they got to see Terence Bud Crawford in the process. So I say all that to say this, man. Bud Crawford would be just fine at 154 pounds, man. He'll be just fine at 154. Not only will he be just fine, he'll be better than fine. Because at the end of the day, he'll be doing what he should have been doing from the very beginning, which is creating his own legacy, which is forging his own path, which is doing whatever the fuck he want to do. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you can't force nobody to jump in the ring with you. And at the end of the day, you can't please everybody. You know what I'm saying? And you shouldn't try. So, Bud Crawford will be just fine at 154. And should he be able to get a fight with somebody like a Jamil Charlo or a Brian Castano or some of those top dudes at the weight division, it does way more for his career to be able to get a win versus one of those guys than it would be to get a win versus a Earl Spence Jr., a dude with a detached retina, a dude coming off of a car accident, a dude, you know what I'm saying? a dude whose claim to fame is doing well in a sparring match with Floyd Mayweather Jr. You know what I'm saying? Jermell Charlo has accomplished way more than Earl Spence has, in my opinion. Jermell Charlo, I mean, if y'all niggas really want to go down the motherfucking list, Jermell Charlo is far more accomplished and has far better competition than Earl Spence Jr. Jermell Charlo collected all 3 of those belts a year before Earl Spence could. Earl Spence is just now getting the opportunity to collect 3 belts, and we still don't know if he's actually going to make it through this fight with Dennis Ugas. So it would mean much more to Bud Crawford's career if he were to go up and fight and beat somebody like a Jermell Charlo or a Brian Castano, one of those dudes, you know what I mean, versus a Earl Spence Jr. You know, and them dudes, and you know, and all the excuses as far as PBC blocking, and I addressed it in the last video when I was talking about Bud not signing with PBC, which I stand by that. I don't think he should sign with PBC, but I addressed it in the last video where I said, man, Bud shouldn't sign with no PBC. And as far as PBC blocking the fights at 154 pounds, at the end of the day, they didn't block Sean Porter versus Terence Crawford. And you can say, oh, that was a mandatory. You can say it was this. You can say it was that. You can say it was this. At the end of the day, the fight happened, and it was a cross-promotional fight between PBC and Top Rank. So that goes to show that making a cross-promotional fight with Top Rank or making a cross-promotional fight with the PBC is not impossible. It might take a little bit of extra work here and there. It might take some extra doing here and there, but it ain't impossible. It's not improbable. You know what I'm saying? So Terence Crawford may have to do a little bit of work when he goes up to 154, but I think he should be able to get the fights that he needs at 154. And at very least, he should be able to secure some legacy building fights. And if Earl Spence does ever move up there to 154 pounds from 147, guess who he has to see with that WBO belt? Terence Bud Crawford. And you know what he could do even after that? He can move up to 160 pounds. He can do whatever the fuck he want to do by being a free agent. He can do whatever the fuck he want to do by moving up to 154 pounds. He can do whatever the fuck he want to do at the end of the goddamn day. And ain't nobody got time for Earl Spence. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close the video out on that, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. And everybody, and I do mean everybody, hit that like button one time for your boy. But I'm going to holler at y'all on the next one. Peace.
You've beaten Kell Brook now, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter, and Danny Garcia. Who do you want next?
Oh, I'm gonna chill on my ranch. I just bought a new ranch. I got a couple of horses. I'm gonna get some more horses, get some chickens, some more.